Hey guys, it's Katie with JLT, and today we're going to install our cold air intake for the 2011 and up Dodge Challenger and Charger 3.6 liter. So let's get started. So you're going to start by removing the engine cover. So to remove the stock intake, you're going to start by removing this bolt, and then there are two connections back there that you'll have to remove as well. Just loosen this hose clamp and then you can remove the stock intake from the vehicle. So now you can remove the stock intake from the vehicle. So 2023 models are going to have this line, and if you have an 11 to 22, you're not going to need to pull it out. But for the 23s, you'll just reach back here and it pulls out. So you're going to want to make sure that you unclip this when you're pulling it out so you don't pull out the other line. So now we're going to install the trim on both the bottom and the top of the airbox. So now we're going to prepare the intake tubes. So you're going to start by installing the IAT sensor grommets. And you want to make sure that little tab lines up with the notch. And then we're going to install this bracket in this orientation with the provided hardware. So now you're going to remove the IAT sensor from the stock intake tube and install it onto the JLT intake tube. When you install it, you want to push down, follow the arrow over the ramp, and you want this tab to back up to the top of the ramp. So if your Challenger has a functional hood-like scoop, you're just going to install a scoop onto the airbox, and sometimes you'll have to remove a cover that's right here. So when installing the scoop onto the airbox, you're going to want to make sure that this arrow lines up with this notch. So now for the scoop is also going to have the same arrow. So you're going to install the hose clamp and then line it up. And you can rotate until the arrows match. And then tighten down the hose clamp. So before installing the airbox into the vehicle, you're going to want to install this grommet. And then if you do have the scoop installed, you're going to want to line it up as you put the box in. So to give yourself a little bit more visibility, you can remove this trim piece as well, and that'll help you guide it. So now that everything is lined up and installed, you can go ahead and reinstall the screw that you had removed earlier to secure down the airbox. So now we're going to install the air filter. Just remove the hose clamp before you install it. And then just make sure it is snapped into place. So now you're going to install the JLT intake tube into the air filter. And then I just support it from the back as you push it into place. So when installing the hose clamp, you can either tighten it a little bit and then slide it all the way over to the intake tube, or you can wrap it around and then tighten it while it's on the flange. So before we install the second part of the intake tube into the vehicle, you're going to want to grab the stock intake again. We're going to remove this grommet and install it on to this bracket. And then you're going to install these two couplers, one on the end of the intake and then the smaller end onto the engine. And if the stock coupler didn't come off, you'll want to take that off first. So when installing this part, you're going to start by reinstalling the grommet onto the piece that it came off of earlier. And then you can also reconnect the IAT. So now install the coupler that's going to connect the two intake tubes together, and then tighten down all the hose clamps. So for the 23, you're going to take the provided hose and you're going to plug it back into the adapter. So we grabbed the engine cover to show you kind of how we routed this hose. So you're going to want to make sure that you route it out of the way. So what we did is we routed it under this line and then connected it, and that'll give you enough clearance to then install the engine cover. All right guys, so that is it. It is a super easy install, but if you have any questions, you just want to know more, you can always check it out on our website or give us a call, and I'll see you next time.